I'm Barry Chandler, the founder of Interactive Hospitality. You know me better as the Bar Blogger. Step 4 of a social media strategy for your bar or restaurant. Today's video, we are going to talk about how to measure and how to monetize your campaign so that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. So we've gone through the first 3 steps of our strategy. Step 1, set your goals. Step 2, understand what platforms and networks to use. Step 3, understand what content is going to resonate most with customers. And step 4, you're going to measure and you're going to monetize, and you're going to keep tweaking until we get this right. So let's talk about measuring and monetizing. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, works with a bar in Chicago that the owner spends hours a day on Facebook while their food cost runs at 65%. They're not measuring the success of their Facebook efforts, and certainly they're not measuring the results of their kitchen costing and their operations in there. So when it comes to measurement, how do you measure? Well, first of all, you've got to see, what are you putting into this? Are you putting time into it? Are you putting money into it? Let's start with time. If you're putting 15 minutes a day into this, what kind of result do you think you should get for 15 minutes? If you're putting an hour of your time into it, what kind of return should you be getting on it? What value is your time? Do you put a value in your time of $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour? Well, think about that. If you're putting $100, let's say notionally your time is worth $100 an hour, expensive. However, what are you getting for your $100? And if you're doing that 5 days a week, maybe that's $500 worth of time that you've put into this. Are you getting $500 back out of it? Now, how do you know? Well, there's a few indicators that you can tell whether social media is working for you. First of all, you must have followed the first 3 steps. You must have researched your goals and established a goal. You must have identified the correct platforms to use. You must be using a content strategy based on my recommendations of what to post. Now you've got to measure whether that's paying off for you. So if $500 of time has gone into this, have you made $500 back in terms of the revenue in your bar, and how do you check that? So a couple of ways to measure it. Number 1, are your fans growing? I know fan numbers are a very small part of a successful strategy, but they're an indicator of whether things are going up or things are going down. But of those fans, who's coming in and spending money? How do you know if they're coming in and spending money? Like any form of marketing you do in your bar or restaurant, how do you know if they're coming into your bar as a result of your newspaper advert or as a result of what you've done on Facebook or Twitter? Well, here's a few things you can do on Facebook and Twitter specifically. Set up your Facebook page so that it rewards customers for becoming a fan. Give them a reward coupon that expires in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It gives them a discount, it gives them a free entree when they buy another entree, it gives them an appetizer when they buy an entree, it gives them $5 off a spend of $20. And track that and count it and have them come into the bar and redeem this, and make sure your servers are educated as to the fact that you're offering this deal. Count up these redeemable coupons at the end of the week and see what value the entire check was. So one person might have come in with a coupon, but there could be 4 people at the table because this one person said, hey, I got a coupon, let's go down to John's restaurant today. Maybe the whole table ended up being worth $120 to you, all because of this $5 off coupon. So track that. That's one way to track it. It's really easy to do. If you need help setting up couponing and redeeming coupons on your Facebook page, please give us a shout. Another way to do it is to offer fan-only offers during the week and fan-only and follower-only offers on Twitter. So on Facebook, you could do Facebook Friday. I've spoken before in these videos about a bar that does Facebook Friday where everything is half off just by saying the word Facebook. If people are saying Facebook, you know they're coming from Facebook. Maybe somebody overhears them though, and they say, hey, I also heard about Facebook. Not really, even though they're not really a fan, it doesn't matter. What you want to do is spread the word that Facebook is where it's at. Because I guarantee if somebody overhears an offer that's free from Facebook or 50% off, the first thing they're going to do when they go to Facebook is check out your business. Twitter Tuesday, Twitter Thursday, offered a reason to come into your bar. First person in on a Tuesday to say the word Twitter gets half off their appetizers, gets a free bucket of wings, gets a free beer if you can give it away in your state. So think about these incentives. They're ways to get people in the door. How else do you do it? Well, one really easy way, and I mentioned this easiest of tactics early on when I talked about how to find out where your customers are spending their time online. Ask your customers how they heard about you. I was at a restaurant in DC once where I approached the server's, the hostess's desk, and I noticed she had a sheet of paper there, and every person that came up and asked for a table, she asked them, how did you hear about the restaurant? And when they told her, she wrote it down. And she had columns there, and in many cases, I could see the same things being mentioned over and over again. And I asked her, what do you do with that sheet? And she said the managers and the owners sit down every week and they compile the sheet to see where most of their customers came from. At the end of the month, they add it all up and they see where the most traffic came from. And they compare that to their marketing spend. If it's got no relevance to their marketing spend, they realign their marketing to make sure that they spend more in the most effective areas. How simple a step is that to implement in your business? Really easy to do. So ask your customers how they heard about you. I said this to a nightclub owner one time, and he said when it's 10 people deep on a Friday night in the nightclub, the last thing I'm going to do is shout across the bar, how did you hear about us? Of course, it's got to make sense operationally. But if you're ambling up to a table, asking somebody if they're ready for their order to be taken, it's really easy to put in an extra step into the process just to ask them how they heard about you. You might be surprised at the results. That is it for the 4 steps of a strategy. Set your goals, create your platforms, have a content strategy, measure and monetize. If it's not working for you, we'll start again. We'll start with a different content strategy. We'll measure something differently. The beauty of this is that you don't have to go on indefinitely flogging a dead horse. If it's not working, change your tactics. We start again. Try it for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. But do bear in mind, the best things come to those who nurture their customers, build their relationships, and grow that base over time. It's a numbers game after that. It'll turn into more customers in your door. Don't give up too soon. Most people give up when the finishing line is just around the corner. So think about that when you're setting about your social media strategy for your bar or your restaurant. I'm Barry Chandler from Interactive Hospitality. I hope you enjoyed this series on creating a social media strategy for your bar or restaurant. Cheers.